Coilovers are for poor people. Get your money up, bitch. What do you say?
If you can't slide, you can't drive. That's it. That's just the rule.
Bitch, I'm gassed up. Bitch, I'm gassed up. Bitch, I'm gassed up. Bitch, I'm gassed up.
Rum, 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 I'm an idiot. Rum, rum, rum.
I took a couple.
No, zoom in.
No, I don't want to zoom it. You have to make it.
This one is nice.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Too Fast TV, and today we're going to be talking about lowering your car.
Cut your springs, dumbass.
Don't be this guy.
No, don't do that. What are you?
Lowering your car is probably one of the most popular ways to customize your ride. But with so many options out there, which do you choose? During today's episode, we'll be covering the in and outs of all three suspension options. This includes lowering springs, coilovers, and air suspension. And whether you're looking for ride comfort, an upgrade in performance, or just an aesthetic appeal, hopefully you'll be able to choose the one that's best suitable to your needs. Let's talk about the benefits of lowering springs. They're great for those on a budget, costing around $300 to $500. The great thing about them is that they replace factory springs, which means they're compatible with OEM struts. Lowering springs also improve handling, as well as decrease body roll due to lowering the center of gravity. One of the disadvantages of lowering springs is that you're unable to customize the ride height. The springs are set to a fixed height, which is usually a 1.5 to 2 inch drop, and unless the vehicle is equipped with OEM active dampening, there is no adjustment. This is why people with vehicles that come equipped with active dampening choose lowering springs over coilovers, as it still utilizes OEM technology. Unfortunately, the installation process is a lot more challenging than coilovers and will require more tools. A spring compressor is recommended, but not always used.
Run.
Note that if you are installing lowering springs on an OEM strut with a higher mileage, it can become prone to leakage as the strut is now compressed down to a lower point of its assembly. Now let's talk about the benefits of coilovers. In terms of installation, it's pretty simple as it's completely replacing the OEM strut. This allows for customized ride height as well as desired dampening settings for a softer or stiffer suspension feel. Also, depending on the brand, this can range from 16 to 32 dampening adjustments. What's great about coilovers is that they come equipped with adjustable front camber plates, which allow for further camber adjustment. Many coilover brands also offer customizable spring rates to fit with your desired driving style. In terms of disadvantages, it's definitely more expensive than lowering springs and can range from $1,200 to $2,800 if not more. And although the installation is quite simple, it can be time-consuming to set your ride height and dampness to your preferred preference. And because most coilover companies do not offer rear camber plates, it may be necessary to purchase aftermarket suspension components, such as camber arms and lateral links, to allow for desired alignment specs. We've interviewed a couple locals to hear what they had to say about their suspension setup.
Hey guys, so we're here with Elliott today with a Subaru. Elliott, thanks for coming out. Can you let us know what you have done suspension-wise on your car?
I have BCRM series coilovers on my car.
Awesome. And what would you say is your favorite thing about running coilovers is?
My favorite thing about coilovers is the fact that how much it changed the drivability of the car opposed to a stock strut or stock suspension.
So you do have a full-built race car, so would you say that the coilovers do make a difference when you're tracking your car?
Definitely. I mean, the thing is too, once you go and take a lap, you can alter the suspension and the dampening of it. So you can go take a lap and maybe feel like you're losing some time in the corner or it doesn't feel right in the corner. You can adjust the dampening of the coilovers, and these ones are 30-way dampening. So you have a quite fair amount or quite a leeway in terms of making it stiffer or softer in the rear or the front, depending on track layout and stuff like that.
Hi guys, I'm here with Susie today and she brought her Lexus IS 250. Susie, can you let us know what kind of suspension you're running on your car?
So currently I'm on BC coilovers.
And what would you say are your favorite things about running coilovers?
So the most appealing aspect of the coilovers was its price point, because I can get a pretty low setup with a fraction of the cost that it would take for an air ride setup. Also, I can get the added adjustability on like a spring setup.
So I do understand that you did install it yourself. So for other people that are trying to do it themselves, how would you say this ranks in difficulty as opposed to springs and air management systems?
Maintenance is pretty easy. Unlike springs where you gotta compress the spring, this is pretty much just a swap with the strut. So when it comes to the maintenance, I think it's pretty simple as opposed to installing springs and air ride setup. So I like the added flexibility with that as well.
If you ain't frame banging, you ain't doing it right.
If you do run coilovers during the winter, you do risk the potential seizing of the collars. So to prevent this, it's best to remove the coilover from the bottom collar and apply anti-seize to the threads prior to installation. Another good practice is to run a coilover sock that is installed around the whole spring to prevent corrosion from entering the strut assembly. Now let's talk about air suspension. An air setup still has struts like any normal car, only here, the springs are replaced with airbags. These are typically made of rubber and polyurethane composite and are inflated via an air tank and compressor located in the trunk. Part of the fun of installing your air suspension system is customizing your trunk setup. One of the greatest features about air suspension is the convenience of being able to adjust your ride height at any given time using either an app or a physical module located in the car. This is especially convenient when driving over speed bumps or any uneven terrain. And let's face it, airing out looks mad cool. Let's talk disadvantages. Air suspension does not come cheap, so be prepared to spend north of $5,000. Not only is installation more thorough due to wiring and airline routing, but it usually comes at an additional cost. Also, the system itself can be quite loud and time-consuming to operate, which may steer some consumers towards other suspension options. As there is a high risk of equipment failure, it is also important to note that there is always a risk of a bag blowout or a leak. Purging tanks semi-annually can prevent moisture buildup in the compressor and lines, which can cause premature failure. Maintaining a proper seal to prevent bag leakage is also recommended.
Alright guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next week. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Fast TV.
Hey,
Yeah.
he already knows what it is.
I know what it is.
Dang, so high off this rubber.
Your laughter gets every time.
Can't slide, you can't drive. It is what it is.
Addict's life and bags are for groceries.
Bags are for groceries.
You know what? My self-confidence is really plummeting right now.
We just park in the background.
Right? So like our Instagram, wait, check out or like?
Follow.
You say check
None of the above.